The prologue to the Parson's Tale. That time the manciple his tale had ended, the sun down from the south line had descended, so low that he was not unto my sight, degrees full 29 yet in height. 4 of the clock it was then, as I guess, 4 feet 11, little more or less. My shadow was extended then and there, a length as if the shadow parted were, in 6 foot equals part, as I have shown, therewith the moon's high exaltation known. I mean the sign of Libra did descend, as we were entering a village end, whereat our host, since wont to guide was he, as in this case, our jolly company. Said in this wise, now masters every one, we lack no tales except a single one. My judgment is fulfilled in my decree. I think that we have heard from each degree. Almost fulfilled is all my ordinance. I pray to God to give him right good chance. Who tells to us this story pleasantly? Sir Priest, he asked, can you a vicar be? Are you a parson? Tell truth by your fay. Be what you will, break not our jolly play. For every man, save you, has told his tale. Unbuckle, show us what is in your mail. For truly I think, judging by your cheer, you should knit up a mighty matter here. Tell us a fable now, by cock's dear bones. This parson then replied to him at once, you'll get no foolish fable told by me, for Paul, when writing unto Timothy, reproves all those that veer from truthfulness, and tell false fables and such wretchedness. Why should I sow chaff out of my own fist, when I may sow good wheat, if I but list? But if I say you something wish to hear, in which the moral virtues will appear, and if you now will give me audience, I will right gladly, in Christ's reverence, give you such lawful pleasure as I can, but trust me, since I am a southern man, I can't romance with rum ram rough by letter, and God knows rhyme I hold but little better. But if you wish the truth made plain and straight, a pleasant tale in prose I will relate. To weave our feast together at the end, may Jesus of his grace the wit me send, to show you as we journey this last stage, the way of that most perfect pilgrimage, to heavenly Jerusalem on high, and if you will vouchsafe, anon shall I begin my tale, concerning which I pray. Choose what you will, I can no better say. Yet this my mediation is, I own, perhaps not free from errors to be shown by clerk, since I am not a learned man, I do but grasp the meaning as I can. Therefore I do protest, I shall prepare to take what comes and all correction bear. When he had spoken thus, we all agreed, for as it seemed to us 'twas right indeed, to end with something virtuous in its sense, and to give him time and audience. We bade our host that he to him convey the wish of all, that he begin straightway. Our host, he had the very words for all. Sir Priest, said he, may good to you befall. Say what you wish, and we will gladly hear. And after that he added for his ear, tell us, he said, your meditation grown, but pray make haste, the sun will soon be down. Be fruitful, tell us in a little space, and to do well God send to you his grace. Explicit Prohenium. About the Parson's Tale. The Parson's Tale is really no tale at all, but a sermon in prose on penitence, in which he dwells at great length on the 7 deadly sins. Chaucer clearly meant to have the parson speak last, for the day is drawing to a close and the pilgrims are nearing Canterbury, and the shrine of St. Thomas Becket. It was thus Chaucer's intention to emphasize the spiritual nature of the pilgrimage, something that had hardly been mentioned in the tales before that point. However, the parson's sermon is very long and very dull, and even the greatest admirer of Chaucer would be more than satisfied with a brief summary. Penitence, says the parson, is the way to salvation in heaven, and penitence arises from contrition, which is sorrow for sins committed. Of sins there are 2 kinds. Venial sin is to love Christ less than one should. Deadly sin is to love someone or something more than Christ. The deadly sins are 7 in number. Pride is the first of these. It may lie within the heart of or outside of it. Outward pride is like the sign before the tavern that tells that there is wine in the cellar. It can show itself in extravagant displays of clothing, or in clothing that is shamelessly scanty, or in maintaining a great household, or in ostentatious entertaining, or in other unseemly displays. The remedy for pride, says the parson, is humility or meekness. The parson next speaks against the deadly sin of envy, which he defines as sorrow for other men's well-being and happiness, and joy for other men's ill fortune. He calls it the worst of sins, For all the others, bad as they are, give some pleasure in themselves. The remedy for this foul sin is the love of God and of one's neighbor, always remembering that even your enemy is included among your neighbors. The sin of anger comes next in the Parson's catalogue. This sin, according to St. Augustine, is a wicked determination to be avenged by word or deed, and from anger comes such horrible offspring as hate, discord, strife, and homicide. The remedy for the sin of anger is gentleness and patience. The sin of sloth makes a man heavy and peevish. He goes about things sadly, unwillingly, and in a slovenly manner, and the book says, "Accursed be he that serveth God negligently." Sloth leads to despair until the sinner becomes so desperate he will commit any felon or sin. The remedy against sloth is fortitude, or strength to undertake hard tasks and to resist despair. After sloth, the parson spoke of avarice, which he quotes St. Augustine as calling an eagerness to have earthly things. Others say that it is the desire to acquire earthly goods and give nothing to those in need. The only difference between an avaricious man and an idolater is that the idolater has only one idol, while every piece of money in the avaricious man's coffer is an idol to him. The relief for avarice is mercy and pity in large doses, because mercy and pity involve giving to one's fellow men. The deadly sin of gluttony is the immoderate appetite to eat and drink. One whose sin is gluttony can withstand no other sin. Drunkenness is gluttony, as much as is overeating. St. Gregory distinguishes various kinds of gluttony: eating before it is time to eat, addiction to food and drink that is too delicate, eating too much, fastidiousness with great attention paid to the preparation of food and drink, and eating too greedily. Abstinence, temperance, and sobriety are the remedies for gluttony. Lechery is a near cousin to gluttony, so close that oftentimes they cannot be separated. Even the desire to commit lechery is a sin, for it says in the Gospel of St. Matthew, "Whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." This sin is also theft, and the foulest theft there is, for it steals both body and soul. The remedy is generally chastity and continence, and also to avoid those things that give rise to this baseness, as eating, drinking, and the company of those by whom one expects to be tempted. As the first part of penitence consisted of contrition or sorrow for sins committed, the second part deals with oral confession. A person must make a full confession to his priest, and he must confess in sorrow without delay, of his own free will and in full faith. And finally, said the parson, the third part of penitence is expiation, which is generally achieved through almsgiving and bodily pain. The giving of alms should be done as privately as possible, and bodily pain should consist of prayers, vigils, fasts, and wearing of shirts of hair or coarse wool next to the skin. The fruit of penance is endless bliss in heaven.